My name is Oshifesolu Adamlare. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as Formula One Column Africa.
Welcome to Ahead of Singapore Grand Prix. That is the toughest race of the season, the race that separates boys from men. It's a night race, and that will be the third night race of the season. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, now Singapore. Singapore race is at night because of the weather. It is run in the afternoon. They will use close to 7 tires in the 63 laps. It's done at night. There's still a lot of heat. The corners are so tough. The weather is so tough, so it tells on the driver. At least in the race, the drivers lose about 3 kg in weight after the race, and most times after the race, most of the drivers they jump into a pool of lock, that is cold water, just to cool off because of how tough the race is. Now, what are the things we'll be talking about today? We'll be talking about 1, upgrades for Singapore, cleaner fuel in Singapore to help emission by 2028. Helmut Marko should be sacked. We're going to be talking about the Singapore weekend, where we'll talk about Singapore itself, the tickets. Then we're going to talk about 2022 Singapore race. So sit back, relax, let's go. Yeah, so let's start with this. The Singapore Grand Prix is a motor racing which is part of the Formula One World Championship, and the event is taking place in Marina Bay Street Circuit, and the Marina Bay Street Circuit has been used since 2008, and that was where the crash gate happened. That was where Fernando Alonso and his Renault team and Nelson Piquet Jr. performed the miracle. But before then, the Singapore Grand Prix was held at Thompson Road from 1966 to 1973 before it came back on calendar in 2008. But it took a year before Formula One could know what really happened. Now, Sebastian Vettel has won 5 races on that track. He's the driver that has won most races on that track. And Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull, the 3 of them are having 4 race wins each on that circuit. The first race on the circuit was held in 1966, and race has been held on that track. There has been 21 races held in Singapore. Though this year there had been some iteration at the last 4 turns to the end of the circuit. They've made some iterations there, so to be a little bit shorter but more straight line. The circuit length is a 4.928 kilometers, that's a 3.062 miles, and the race length is 308.706 kilometers, that's 191.821 miles. For you to know, it's also one of the anti-clockwise races of the season. In 2008, the 15th round of the FIA Formula One World Championship was held in Marina Bay Street Circuit, and a lot of audience. Pole position was taken by Felipe Massa of Ferrari. The race was won by Fernando Alonso, and the fastest lap was taken by Kimi Raikkonen of Ferrari. 2009, Lewis Hamilton won the race, took the pole position, and Fernando was still at Renault then because he moved from Mercedes in 2007 to Formula Renault 2008, and he got the fastest lap. 2010, Fernando Alonso took the pole position, won the race, and took the fastest lap. He's with Ferrari then. That was when Sebastian Vettel was with Red Bull. Sebastian Vettel won the 2011 from pole position and won the race. Jenson Button took the fastest lap for McLaren. So, on upgrades, which teams will be bringing upgrades? Number 1, Singapore is a track in which most teams bring upgrades to Singapore because of the nature of the track and how demanding that track is. So, we found out that most teams bring their upgrades to Singapore to change the balance, the way the car drives. And Mercedes will be bringing upgrades from the way their car performed in Monaco, Belgium. They are believing that the car will perform better and might very close to the Red Bull in Singapore, though the Red Bull will be dominant. And we know how that car can be. They are bringing upgrades to that car, though the car is not perfect, it's not in the perfect shape yet, but with the upgrades they are bringing, they are hoping it performs well. Aston Martin are bringing big update. They have a good car with a better rear balance than some other cars, but they still believe they need to work on their rears, so they are bringing upgrades to the rear and some part of the car. Front wing will be changed also. They are bringing their own upgrades to make the car faster and suit the track in Singapore better. McLaren too will be bringing upgrades. McLaren have brought upgrades that have pushed them forward in the championship. AlphaTauri will be bringing upgrades, and as from next year, AlphaTauri will be bearing a new name possibly, and they might be doing their own thing differently because they are now based in Italy. They will be bringing upgrades that will make the car faster. They are the last team in the championship this year. Ferrari are bringing upgrades after a better performance in Italy, Monza, last 2 weeks. So almost all teams are bringing upgrades. Red Bull said they are bringing big upgrades. That's how Helmut Marko always say. And at the end of the day, you see that they'll just bring one small upgrade. The upgrades they should be bringing should be for the floor, to make the floor better and to improve the floor aerodynamics for Singapore. Singapore because that floor is lower than every other car on the grid, so they need to take it up a little to suit that track. And also, I think they are bringing upgrades for rear beam wings. Now, Singapore, they are trying their best to make sure they have cleaner fuel to help F1 halve the emission in Singapore on Singapore track, that track gongo, by 2028, and achieving that this year. They are making sure that they're having a very, very clean race. They've noticed that 96.1% of the energy used in Singapore during F1 is too much and it affects the carbon footprint. For you to know, 3.2% of their carbon footprint is just on solid waste, while 1% is on transportation. Another 1% is on others. Now, energy is a night race and they need a lot of energy to power the light, street light, paddock, pit, the hotels, everywhere. So they're trying to bring it down. And you know what they are doing for this important race? Because they want the race to be cleaner for their citizens. So one, they are going to have over 1,500 solar panels for just that race. The generators they will be using, some will be powered by vegetable oil, alternative oil, while some will be powered by biofuel. You've not seen anything. This is just to reduce the carbon. I know we are going to another fuel level. So look at what these guys are doing. Vegetable oil, which will be clean. It's just like biofuel. It will be clean. Very clean. And you know the funny thing? Their toilets will be integrated with that. The WC will be integrated with the wash hand basin. So the water you use to wash your hand in the wash hand basin will be used to flush. So they can save thousands liters of water. That is not alone. All the toilets in Singapore around that time will have AC and will have LED light. You know, these people are looking at what is important to also reduce the carbon footprint. You know what they will be doing? When you are coming for Singapore race, you are not buying water, you are not buying drinks, you are not buying anything. If you need to drink water, bring your water bottle from home. They have dispensers there. Just go take water and go free. They will save thousands of bottles during this week of race, which makes the race for this year to be much more cleaner than others. If they are doing that this year, look at what they will be doing in 2028. Jesus, that is going to be spectacular because the race is already looking spectacular and it's getting very interesting. Because for me, if they are doing that, they are trying to make sure they are clean and everybody comes to enjoy it, because they are really thinking of going to afternoon race, which would not be appreciable to the Formula 1 drivers. So if they are doing afternoon race, they will not appreciate it because they will use a lot of tires. So doing evening races pays them a lot. Though in future they might consider that, but depending on their weather now, then. But with their weather now, I think the night race is still the best for them to run. Now on to Helmut Marko. A lot of people are calling for Helmut Marko's sack. That man needs to be taken away from Formula 1. He's a virus, big worm in the F1 paddock. People are calling for his sacking because he is one of the problems Red Bull is having. Agbatiole Toleni, as old as he is, he cannot just make sure he merges and make sure everybody in the paddock are doing fine. There's no issue. That man is just something. They had to force him to apologize to Sergio Perez for his Hispanic abuse, and that is evil. I think he needs to be taken away from Red Bull because he's a cankerworm, he's a virus, he's a pest in that team, and he's not helping the team grow. He's just bringing his pesty effect on the team and bringing the team down. He should be the one merging the uproar between the Red Bull and the Mercedes and Ferrari and others, but he's just adding petrol to the fire, adding more pepper to the stew. For me, I think he should be taken away, he should be sacked. If there's a voting, I'll be the first person to vote that he should be sacked. He needs to go back to his house and sit down. So the tickets for Singapore this season vary. For 1 day pass, it's $138, and you can only be at a particular place for that 1 day. You cannot be close to the grandstand. You'll be at the reserve seat at the Padang grandstand, having a nice view from afar. But a normal ticket for 3-day pass is a $700 ticket. You'll be able to watch from the 19 corners, see all the tight turns. We have a ticket for about $2,000. Everywhere you want to get to, you get there with that ticket. So, you want to get your ticket? Go get your ticket now. Performing at the Singapore Marina Bay Street Circuit this year will be Robbie Williams and Post Malone. You can see why it's going to be interesting this weekend. But this weekend, from what we are looking at, from the weather report, to be raining on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I think the rain on Sunday will be before the race and in the race. But the rain on Friday and Saturday will be before the practices. So there might be no rain during the qualifying. But on Friday, during the practice 1 and 2, there's a 52% chance of rain. It's going to be humid as it has always been. To be windy, the wind is going to increase by 10 to 15 miles per hour. Temperature will be about 31 degrees, even with rain. That is massive. On Saturday, there's a 52% chance of rain again during the race. But the wind will be about 10 miles per hour, but to be as high as 32 degrees. So it's going to be be interesting, very, very interesting. Last year there was rain, and it made the race very interesting with Lewis Hamilton going into the barriers, enjoying the race from the barriers. So, how did the race go last year? Charles Leclerc took the pole position last year in his Ferrari during the rain with a 1 minute 49 seconds 412.10. And what happened? Max Verstappen was called in on his final lap because he would not have fuel for test samples if he goes fully on the race. So they had to call him in. Started 8th on the track. But in the race, Sergio Perez led the race from beginning of the race, overtook Charles Leclerc from the first turning, ended the race right in front. And that race, normally every year, Singapore racing will have at least one yellow flag. But this 2022 race, some part of the race were ran behind safety car. So it was interesting. Max Verstappen was able to finish the race 5th or 6th, I think. George Russell took the fastest lap. Charles Leclerc came 2nd, and Carlos Sainz came 3rd, with Lewis Hamilton coming 9th. After losing out from 4th position, he tangled with Carlos Sainz. He had a tangle with Lando Norris, was unable to overtake him. He got frustrated. He hit his car into the wall, and that was it. But Max Verstappen had decent speed on his car. He was just overtaking everybody. We know the race this year will be so interesting. Let's see how that pans out, and let's enjoy the race this year. I think I won't talk about this rivalry again between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen because he's already causing a lot of brouhaha. I think F1 and Red Bull are paying some people, especially some old drivers, to come and say a lot of nonsense. And I believe FIA is not doing a good job. Red Bull is not doing a good job. And Max Verstappen is having a leak him out. If he can say he would drive that W14 and he'll be 2/10 faster than Lewis Hamilton, be 2/10 faster than George Russell, I believe he could have driven that Red Bull and he could have won all the races and took pole position this year. But you see, he could not. The moment Sergio Perez bested him twice, they reduced the power on the car of Sergio Perez and made the car irrelevant. But Sergio Perez even said it, that since Baku, the car has not been the same again. So what happened to the car? Common sense. And I know a lot of people sees this comment, but they don't talk about it. When people are paid or fed with lies, a lot of things happen like that. But it shows the kind of people that you work with, and it shows the caliber of people you work with. Everybody respects what Red Bull has done last year and this year. They've done an incredible job. They've built a very fast car, but we should not take it as the way it's been taken. And also, we should also look at it in a vein that it does not give Max Verstappen the audacity to say things he's saying. I pray Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari, and also McLaren, even Aston Martin, will be able to build, with Williams, will be able to build a very, very fast car next year. That is my prayer. So, if they can build equal cars, some people have said, because they wanted to stop the dominance of Lewis Hamilton, that was why they changed the concept. They quickly forced the change. But remember, there's a 2025 rule change. So I don't think that was why. But rules changed. Immediately they changed the rule. Red Bull stopped winning in 2013. Mercedes started winning. Now they changed the rule. Mercedes stopped winning. Red Bull started winning. But let's see this last 2 years, 2024 and 2025. Let's see what happens. But I believe it will change. It will not be in Red Bull's favor. We will now see if Max Verstappen has been marketed the way he really is, or if he's a bad market. We will see if people will talk about it, or they will say, oh, hey, his car is not good then. Let's see what happens. But I pray Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and Aston Martin can build equal cars, so we can now see who is better of the driver. Because I believe they have equal cars. I see Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, George Russell. I see Lando Norris besting him, even Piastri besting Max Verstappen. Let me take Lewis out of the equation. I see this guy's best because he's overrated. One, he is somebody that cannot fight. People are just trying to discredit others. Look at what he did in Singapore 2017. Kimi Raikkonen got on his outside, Sebastian Vettel got on his inside. For them turning, he banged his car. In 2018, he rammed his car into his teammates' rear. That's Daniel Ricciardo's rear. All because he wanted to be the number one driver. 2018, 2017 were his worst years. I don't know why they didn't sack him, but his father was there. We listen to comment and we analyze race. We see this race. Some people even see, but they can't talk because they've been choked with money. They've been choked out of truth. That is that. Sergio Perez said recently that he would love to race in a good environment in which he will be appreciated. He knew when he was in Racing Point that it was not really okay for him, but he enjoyed it because it was a competition between himself and his teammate Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon is just another crazy driver. I love that guy. He's a very good driver, a very talented driver. If I tell you Esteban Ocon has a good car, it will be a tussle between him. I'll rate him and Verstappen together because that guy is good. People don't want to talk. They don't want to say the truth because there are elements of bias and undiplomatic task that people are faking. I see 2024 being a very better year, if all these manufacturers can build a very good car, to be a tough year for Red Bull. I wonder if Mercedes is a very good car on the same level with Red Bull, Ferrari a very good car on the same level with Red Bull, and Ferrari don't make their useless mistakes. Aston Martin and McLaren on the same level. I tell you, 100%. Red Bull will not be third or fourth. There won't be first, second, third, or fourth in the championship. But let's leave that. So, like I said, Sergio Perez said he wants to race in a very good environment. That is, if his 2024 contract is not really honored, he wants to race in a very better place. I wish him well. And on to the Renault. Pierre Gasly wish the French Grand Prix is being reintroduced. And with the French Grand Prix, it's one of the most beautiful Grand Prix. The color, the beauty, the people is so lovely. And with them having a team, the Alpine team, which is also a Renault team, in the championship, I think they should bring the French GP back. And I pray it will be brought back as soon as possible. You know, we're also praying for a GP in Africa. And I know we will get there. We'll work it out. And I believe that it's coming to West Africa very soon. We'll work our way back to it. We'll work our way down to it. Races that have been held in North Africa, that's in Morocco. Again, my heart to Morocco, my pure heart to Morocco. They are one of my best fans, you know. They love my video, especially in Marrakesh. My heart to you. I love you people. The Lord will heal you guys soon. You guys will be back on your feet and your land will be repaired. And that will not happen again. That's my prayer to you guys. Well, you guys are wonderful people. I love you guys. Race has been held in Morocco before. The race has been held in South Africa before. That is the southern part of Africa. Now it's coming to the west. Great. You know, to say something, Hamilton has had the best race lap, as in pole position lap in Singapore, and that is being reckoned by F1. It's 2018, and I think last year also Charles Leclerc had another one, a very beautiful one, and Sebastian Vettel also had one, beautiful one. So in Singapore, a good driver should be an all-round driver that can win races on both tight, street, legal, road, any kind of race. I won't say more than that. It shows the level of some confidence some drivers have and the level of respect some drivers draw. While some drivers will tell you they don't like competition, they just want to be winning, they don't want to race. Watch out for the FP1, FP2. Thank you, we love you. Subscribe, like, share, comment. I love you. Bye. Chee.
Gibor gives you power. Gibor gives you control. Gibor gives you benefits. Are you an individual or business that uses fuel or gas? Use Gibor to find the best prices across all retail outlets in your city. For users and businesses that buy volumes, Gibor gives you access to credit. Gibor also gives you the ability to track your costs and monitor expenses per car or fleet. Need to improve your costs, enjoy incentives, or track expense? Gibor is the answer. Enjoy 5% discount on your first 5 purchases when you get your next fuel voucher from Gibor. Log on to www.gibor.co to enjoy this. Retail outlets wanted nationwide.
We have a new friend in the house. We are in Nigeria here, West Africa. He provides internet for us. They provide the best internet around the mainland, and I know they are still moving to the highland and they are moving all around Nigeria. But for you to get internet on the mainland, contact Fibrad Telecom Limited. They get you sorted out ASAP. The best cable internet on the mainland, fiber, I think they get sorted out. We talk much about them in the course of some of our videos, but contact them, they get sorted out. If you're a builder, if you're an art collector, if you have a showroom, Rated is the best place to get the artworks you need for your new buildings, for your art collections, for your showroom, for your exhibition. Rated Art have one of the best murals, mosaic works, and different art patterns in Nigeria presently. And it's somebody that you can communicate with, talks to you, you tell him what you want, and he will bring the reality out for you. Contact Rated Art. His number is right up here, and you can also go on social media links that are pasted right up here. So check out some of his works. Thank you. Teams Gadget is for those of you that cannot easily go to the market to get your phones, your laptops, your accessories. Just place a call through. His phone number is there. It gets you the best. It's your shop plug to get you the best phones, accessories, laptops, games, and other accessories for your computer gaming experience. Contact Teams Gadget and you get them for you.